What's up, losers? Katie3 here. I have heard your voices. It took me a bit longer than I thought because I didn't know how to go about it, but today I'm going to show you guys how to beat Elizabeth without using Orpheus Telos or any DLC. For the people who couldn't max out all their social links in one playthrough, and for the people who need to do this to feel a false sense of superiority to others who didn't do this. Let's get into it.
With my vision, I'll guide you all to victory. Sounds great!
Before we begin, I'd like to let you guys know that even though the title says you'll be beating Elizabeth without using DLC, unfortunately DLC personas will have to be used during the fusion process. The reason is because I own DLC personas, and just like in Persona 5, DLC personas screw up the fusion process for quite a few personas. So once I finish showing the fusion process for each persona, I'll put the non-DLC recipe at the end so you can take it. If I attempt to disable the DLC, I won't be able to load my save, so I'm stuck with using the DLC. But there will be no DLC personas used for the fight at all. In fact, the personas I picked should be very easy to get naturally. I made this as easy as I could for you guys. I'll be making 4 personas with you guys to take into this fight. To start things, we'll make a persona to give us auto buffs at the start of the fight. You'll be able to use this one for other battles if you want, since I'll be using party-wide buffs instead of individual buffs. We'll use Alice since there's no special requirements to make her. We'll be using Titania and Narcissus to transfer these skills. Let's create Titania first. This should be easy. We'll fuse Saiten Taisei, who learns Auto Mataru and Auto Rebellion, with Siegfried, who learns Auto Moscow at level 55 to make Suzaku. Next, we'll fuse Suzaku and Lamia to make Mercurius. Finally, we'll fuse Mercurius and Nagaraja together to make Titania. To make a Narcissus with the other auto skills, we'll start by fusing Saiten Taisei with the persona that I can't pronounce since they both learn the skills. Fusing them creates White Rider. Next, we'll fuse White Rider with Pixie to make Lamia. Finally, we'll fuse Lamia and Zukotin to make Narcissus. Now to do a special fusion using Titania and Narcissus. Voila, there's our Alice. We'll make Messiah next. Everyone should have this persona unlocked already since you get it by naturally progressing through the story. We'll need Orpheus and Thanatos to make this fusion work, so we're gonna make one of each loaded with the abilities that we want. We'll make Thanatos first. We'll fuse Thoth, who learns Concentrate at level 45, with Satanta, who learns Charge at level 31. This will make another persona that I can't pronounce. Let's pass those abilities down. Next, we'll fuse this persona that I can't pronounce with Trumpeter, who learns Debilitate at level 65 to create a Tropos. We'll be grabbing Debilitate as well. Next, we'll be fusing a Tropos with a level 56 Magatsu Izanagi to create Uriel. Let's fuse it with Orpheus to create Loa. One common issue we're going to face is that lower level personas won't be able to inherit as many skills, so we'll be prioritizing skills based on which ones are the hardest to get. Debilitate and Heat Riser are the most important here because there are no skill cards for these skills, so we have to inherit these. Now we'll be fusing Loa with Pale Rider to create Pisaka. Now we'll be doing the special fusion for Thanatos while transferring the skills we were trying to get. If any of the other personas being used in the special fusion have them, make sure you transfer those as well. Next, we need to create Orpheus. First, we'll fuse Thanatos, who learns Ali Dance at level 64 with Uriel to create Trumpeter. If you didn't bring Debilitate when making Thanatos, you can put it on Orpheus, but Orpheus won't be able to inherit as many skills, so think about it carefully. Next, we'll be fusing Trumpeter with Lucifer, who learns Resist Fizz at level 96 to create Michael. Now we'll fuse Michael with Angel to make Osei. After that, we'll fuse Osei with Orpheus to make Slime. The skills we're gonna want to make sure we keep are Ali Dance and Resist Physical because there are no skill cards for these. Finally, we'll fuse Slime and Arsene to create Orpheus. Finally, we can fuse Orpheus and Thanatos to make Messiah. I'll be passing down Heat Riser, Debilitate, Ali Dance, Resist Fizz, and whatever else I can get. We probably won't have all the skills we need to make the ideal build, so I'm going to see if I have some skill cards for the skills that we couldn't get. Enduring Soul is a skill we'll need for the fight, but I would prefer to have it on the next persona. Messiah learns it naturally, so you can either choose to keep it or replace it with something like Spellmaster if you want. You can get a skill card for that from the antique shop if that's what you would prefer to have. Next up, we'll be making Thanatos. He'll be the almighty damage dealer for poking away at Elizabeth's HP when necessary. He's also got Endure and Enduring Soul to take Elizabeth's instant kills. You may be confused about why I'm not transferring Almighty Amp during the fusion process, but remember that this is a video for you guys, and getting Almighty Amp in the first place is a chore, so I want to make builds that you guys have a much easier shot at making to make your lives much easier. First, we'll fuse a level 73 Sibyl with a level 41 Hanuman. This should get you a Neberos with Endure and Spellmaster. Fuse this with a level 95 Hillel to get Loki with these skills along with Almighty Boost. Fuse Loki with Vanatis to get Lilith while passing down Ali Dance from Vanatis, who learns it at level 64. Fuse Lilith with Asperis to get King Frost. Fuse King Frost with Nekomata to get Carmen. Fuse Carmen and Pixie to get Silky. Fuse Silky and Tom Lin to get Pixie again. Finally, we'll do a group fusion for Alice using this Pixie. We'll be taking Ali Dance, Almighty Boost, and Spellmaster. If we can't bring Endure, we'll leave it behind. Next, we need to make Mott. To start, we'll fuse Kumokutin with Queen Medbee. You should be able to pass down Enduring Soul and multi-target boost down to Ganga. Fuse Ganga with a level 96 Lucifer to pass down Resist Fizz to Addis. Resist Fizz is a skill that we must keep since there is no skill card for it. Fuse Addis and Loki, the DLC one, to get Skadich. Fuse Skadich and Chimera to create Izanagi. Fuse Izanagi and Hanuman to create Mott. Hanuman has Endure, so you can pass it down if you want. Finally, let's do a special fusion for Thanatos. We're going to pass down Almighty Boost, Ali Dance, Spellmaster, Resist Fizz, and Enduring Soul. Thanatos learns Megidola on naturally, so we don't need to worry about that one. Now I'll apply the skill cards for the skills that I'm missing. Here's how to get them. For this next one, you have two choices. You can either use Masakado or Siegfried. I use Masakado because his affinity spread is slightly better, so he's a bit safer to use for this fight. If you don't have Masakado, you need to do Elizabeth request number 87, which is to make a level 75 or higher Loki. You need to make sure you've done the other quests in the Fusion series before you can access this one. I'll have a Siegfried build for you just in case you can't use Masakado. Their purpose is for getting as much damage as we can out of the Scarlet Havoc Theurgy skill, which is important for this fight. The two personas we'll be loading with the skills are Bishamonten and Kumokutin. We'll make Bishamonten first. First step is to fuse Sandman with Archangel to pass down Resist Elec and Apt Pupil to take Take Minakata. Next, we'll fuse Take Minakata with Zokutin, who learns Crit Rate Boost to make Matador. Next, we'll fuse Matador and Kamu Susanoo, who learns Vorpal Blade at level 53 to make Aerobus. Next, we'll fuse Aerobus and Incubus to make Okuni Nushi. Finally, we'll fuse Atropos with Okuni Nushi to make Bishamonten. Priority skills are Crit Rate Boost since it has no skill card and Apt Pupil. Vorpal Blade is much harder to get a skill card for, but you don't need it, so make Crit Rate Boost, Apt Pupil, and Resist Electric a priority. Next, we'll fuse Kumokutin. We'll use Queen Medbee with Siegfried, who has Slash Amp and Crit Rate Amp, but we only need Slash Amp because Masakado learns Crit Rate Amp naturally. We'll get Kurama Tengu. Next, grab Siegfried out of the compendium again and fuse him with Kurama Tengu to make Belphegor.
You suck.
Fuse Belphegor with Jikokuten, who has slash boost to make Mercurius. Finally, fuse Mercurius with Titania to make Komokuten. Now let's do a group fusion for Masakado. Pass down crit rate boost, slash amp, apt pupil, and multi-target boost. We'll use skill cards to get the other missing skills. For those who can't get Masakado, here's a Siegfried build for you. I'll show you how to make it step by step. Same skills are a priority. We'll be fusing Dionysus and Mercurius together to make Siegfried. We'll start with Dionysus. First, we'll fuse Anubis with Archangel to make Legion, passing down Resist Dark and Apt Pupil along the way. Next, we'll fuse Legion with Kamusu Sano, who has Vorpal Blade to make Seiryu. Finally, we'll fuse Seiryu with Dominion to make Dionysus. Next up is Mercurius. We'll start by fusing Queen Medbay with Zukoten to create Johanna, while passing down multi-target boost and crit rate boost. Next, fuse Johanna and Jikokuten, who has slash boost to make Kaguya. Finally, fuse Kaguya with Mishaguji to make Mercurius. Fuse Mercurius with Dionysus to make Siegfried. Pass down crit rate boost, slash boost, multi-target boost, and apt pupil. Siegfried learns crit rate amp and slash amp naturally. We'll use skill cards to get the Resist Dark and Vorpal Blade if you really want it. The last persona we'll be making is Chiyu. This one requires having the Tower Social Link max, so it's a bit tougher to get than the others, but not by much. This persona is going to give you a lot of peace of mind during the fight simply because he has the perfect affinity spread, not a null, drain, or absorb skill in sight. So if you're not sure what persona Elizabeth plans to use next in her pattern, you can swap to Chiyu knowing you'll be safe. For this fight, Chiyu will be strictly support, just like Messiah. We'll need to load some skills on Agaruda and Michael. Let's start with Michael. By the way, you'll need to do all of Ken's Link episodes if you want to fuse Michael, so keep that in mind. First, we'll fuse Setanta with Matador to create Johanna while passing down Charge into Kunda. Next, we'll fuse Johanna with Pisaka to create Power, while also passing down Dakaja from Pisaka. Next, we'll fuse Power with Magatsu Izanagi, who has Heat Riser, to make this persona that I can't pronounce. Next, we'll fuse that persona with Trumpeter to create Uriel. Finally, we'll fuse Uriel with Seth to make Michael. Priority skills are Heat Riser, Debilitate, and Charge. Take whatever you want that's left if they all can't fit. Next, we'll be making a Garuda with the rest of the skills that we want. We'll start by fusing Cybele with Venatus to make Mott while passing down Spellmaster and Ali Dance. Next, we'll fuse Mott with Aspareth to get Virtue. After that, we'll fuse Virtue with Kaguya to get Seiryu while passing down Diarahan from Kaguya. Next, we'll fuse Seiryu with Yerlinger to get Suzaku.
I don't have time for this shit.
Finally, we'll fuse Suzaku with Barong to get Garuda. It should be able to inherit all of the skills we were looking for. Finally, we'll fuse Michael and Garuda together to make Chiyu. Skill priority is Heat Riser, Debilitate, Ali Dance, Spell Master, and Charge. We'll get skill cards for the missing skills. These personas should be enough to get you through the fight. Let's talk about your gear now. What should you use for the fight? The weapon I use is Lucifer's Blade, but I have Orpheus Telos, so I think you may prefer to use Excalibur instead for the extra SP. You can make Lucifer's Blade if you want in the antique shop and find Excalibur in Tartarus. The armor I use is the Armor of Light to reduce the magic damage Elizabeth does. You can use the Shoes of Light to get Ali Dance so you can dodge a lot of Elizabeth's attacks, or if you want to block all of Elizabeth's dark insta-kill attempts, you can use the Shoes of Bane main that could be purchased from Tanaka's TV program on November 29th for 38,000 yen. The accessory I like to use is the Amrotite necklace to stop any ailments from happening. You can buy this from Club Escapade for 500,000 yen. If money is tight, do Elizabeth's request for a Christmas present. You'll get an accessory that pretty much does the same thing. The armor and shoes of light can be made in the antique shop. Make sure to check out my money guide if you're short on yen and need some. What should you do before the fight? Make sure you stock up on SP restoring item. Also fill up your theurgy gauge before the fight starts so you can start the fight with it. Make sure you also grab a card from Shovel Time that doubles your damage before the fight as well. That buff comes from the cup cards. Make sure to start the fight with Atlus to make sure you get your buffs right off the bat. Then switch to Siegfried or Masakado, whichever one you made, and use Scarlet Havoc to do some big damage. If you want to increase your damage output, make sure to use some incense from the antique shop to boost your strength, magic, and luck, as these all factor into Scarlet Havoc's final damage. You can also check out my fast leveling guide if you want to level up your personas and boost their stats that way. Your strategy for this fight is pretty much going to be casting support spells using Chiyu or Messiah until your theurgy gauge fills, then switching to Masakado or Siegfried and using Scarlet Havoc until you enter the next phase. Keep in mind that since you're not using Orpheus Telos, you're running the risk of breaking the no null drain reflect rule if you use the wrong persona at the wrong time, so pay attention to Elizabeth's attack pattern as well as her health. Switch to Chiyu if you're unsure of which attack she's going to use next in the pattern. Here is her pattern during the first phase. Once Elizabeth's health goes under 13,000, she will reduce your defense and cast Concentrate. Switch to a persona that has Enduring Soul because the Megidolaon spell that she casts next turn will instant kill. She will then cast Charge afterwards and use Thor for the next 3 turns. If you don't get Elizabeth's health under 10,000 in those 3 turns, she will try to instant kill you again. You can actually skip this phase entirely if you keep her health above 13,000 and use an attack that is strong enough to bring it under 10,000. So make sure you're using Scarlet Havoc wisely, as not having it when you need it may cost you the fight. Once her health goes under 10,000, she will reach the final phase. She will cast Heat Riser on herself, then heal to get all 20,000 of her HP back. Her attack pattern changes here and will even randomly reset, so be careful not to break the rules. Sticking with Chiyu in this phase can be a safe move if you don't know what to expect. Here is her attack pattern for the final phase. Once you get her health under 10,000 again, she will cast another Megidolaon that will instantly kill you, so make sure to get her HP as close to 10,000 as possible, then switch to your persona that has Endure to tank the hit. Use Armageddon to finally win the fight. It's over. It's over. Let's go. It's over. And that's how you beat Elizabeth with no DLC and no Orpheus Telos. Make sure you check out my playlist if you need help with anything else related to Persona 3 Reload. See you guys later.